No, they haven't left yet.
Yeah, they have, dude.
Did they leave? Did they leave?
We'll come
All right.
Is that Bernie?
I don't know, but they're going to the fucking party.
Dude, what's up with you guys leaving us?
They've been lovers for 3 minutes now. Hey! It's the same disease. What can happen?
Louis Lupus.
So imagine you're a business establishment and you let all these drunks in. They all walk into the lobby. All these ladies and kids are having their birthday parties. They're in their hats and they look up and they go, what the hell just walked in? A bunch of dudes who are drunk and stoned, who have ugly ties, sunglasses, and they head straight for the bar.
Go up those steps, you open that door, you see all that different color, and then whammo, you see your buddies right there at the bar. I mean, there's just nothing better than being with your buddies for an entire day.
They're loud and obnoxious, and then all of a sudden, the whole area just starts roaring with these drunks.
I was underage, used an ID from my friend who was sitting 2 seats away, Chris Casey. Got really hammered and, well, it's ugly tie. It's always really hammered.
One year we had such a food fight. It was a mess.
There was a loaf of bread in one of their chandeliers that stayed there for many years, but we put that there.
Somebody started throwing something, which turned into a loaf of bread, which turned into 10 loaves of bread, and I got it. I still got a scar here to prove it too. Right about there.
I think it's pretty clear that Kreiser started the food fights.
There was a time when John Kreiser was on the table throwing bread at everybody.
They're throwing butter on these huge vaulted ceilings.
There were salt shakers and spoons and bread all over the place, spit wads on the ceiling. That lasted there for like 15 years. And I think at one point we noticed they just painted over it. And there was just butter everywhere.
They messed up the place by throwing knives, butter, wet towels, food, that the establishment came to our table and said,
if you guys don't fucking clean up, you are never allowed back again.
And they handed us brooms, mops, dustpans, and just said they were furious. And we were like a bunch of stupid kids, like, oh, okay, mom's mad. And we had to clean up the place. True story.
Food fights were always entertaining, though, probably not the best idea, but we were young and stupid.
My mom she's a makeup artist, and she was doing a client, and the client's husband comes in the room, they're chatting, and he goes, oh, I'm a manager at the old spaghetti factory. And my mom's saying, oh, really? My husband used to go there all the time for his birthday.
I knew somebody whose husband or somebody was a manager there, and they found out that I was someone's boyfriend or husband, and they were like, holy crap, that guy's the ugly tie guy. I felt like a celebrity. It was pretty awesome. Pretty damn awesome. Could have signed some autographs, maybe took some spaghetti, maybe got a free bowl.
And he's saying, oh yeah, we used to have this big party that would come in, maybe like 50, 60 guys, and they would rent out this room, and they'd just get so drunk, and they'd have food fights, food everywhere, and we'd have to clean the place up. They were so annoying. My mom goes, did you know their names by any chance? He goes, no, it was just these 2 twins. And she goes, Alex and Boris? Goes, oh my God, yeah, how did you know? Do you know them? And she goes, yeah, it's my husband and his brother. Yeah. So that was a pretty mortifying moment, I think, to be that infamous that, the managers of the restaurant remember how bad of clients you were.
Oh, fucking people. The Ugly Tie Contest is an annual event where the guys get together and get to show off who has the ugliest tie.
People search for ties all over the globe, including parts of Guam and Canada. And we all get together, and there's a contest to see whose tie technically is the ugliest, and that man walks away with a magnificent trophy. His tie goes on a wall, framed, signature.
We've all been to ugly sweaters. It's okay, you get a little prize or something like that, but what about a trophy? From day one, when we did this, I poured my soul and heart and tears into this thing, knowing that it's gonna be something for 50, 60, 80 years to come. And I knew that adding these elements, everything that we added, it had to have this long-term effect. And I thought a trophy was the perfect thing. And we found this lady, she made the ugliest trophy. I never consulted with her. She would just say, I've got an idea, let me do this. I open the hood, I take that box up, everyone would crowd around me like, oh my God, the Pope is here. And we'd carry that box up, and then just everyone would laugh. We'd pull this trophy out, and one year, you had a guy with a bottle in his ass, and just sitting on top and mounted on top of a trophy. And just the plaque, she was amazing. She always gave us a beautifully ugly, perfect treat for whoever won.
Thanks guys for voting.
Todd, what do you got to say? What do you got to say to the camera on your second win? The first one was in 95. 95.
I've been working at this for many years now, guys, and I just want to let you, each and every one of you, know that you suck and I won! Fuck you, losers!
How many ugly tie contests have you won? 2. Don't remember if they were back to back, but they were close. And one of them was on Alex Bogarski's tie that he rejected.
I'd hate to sound like a curmudgeon on this. Being a 3-time winner, I feel is a great accomplishment. Although it was early on, I have to have the hubris to understand that, every great champion of sport does have his day.
Once food has been served, we actually announce the ugly tie rules. We announce the contest rules, and then we go through. Once dessert has wrapped up, we'll have the ugly tie contest begin.
Whoever won the tie contest, that's announced at the restaurant. So you imagine it's dead silent. These wait staff becomes the judges. They're looking at everybody's ties. They're checking everything out there. Everyone's standing in a line like this, and they go in a big circle, and you're like puffing your chest out like you're some fucking peacock. And so everyone's peacocking, and then next thing you know, they announce the top 10, then it goes to the top 3.
This is the semifinal round. We're down to 3. Down to 3. After this, it's going to be the ultimate ugliest tie. Here we go.
There's a fucking drum roll like nobody's business, and then they announce the tie. And that guy's face when they announce that tie contest, he looks like he just was awarded 60 pounds of cocaine. Like, it was just... God, his face lit up. It was like, hey, here's your divorce papers, and he was like, yeah. It was incredible, man. And then you get the big rush feeling. The whole place erupts, some with jealousy, but I think For the most part, they're happy for that person. We hoist them up on our shoulders. It's like, na, 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 na. The band starts playing the parade. Na, na, na. It gets super nutty in there. Next thing you know, they hoist the guy on the shoulders. One year, Mark Wood, they hoisted him on his shoulders, and then everyone just kind of walked away. And he went, boom, right on his fucking face. And then everyone turns around and went, oh shit! You know? It was a good time. It's a good time. And then that person gets a trophy. Everyone chips into a pot to get some money. They get money. They get a trophy. They get bragging rights.
And that guy that wins is the hero of that night.
to the bill, and we have $382 for their tip. Woo!
Who gets it? Can we give it to Nora, our third time server?
We have your tip.
Thank you.
And we have the bill.
Thank you.
Thank you
Gentlemen,
very much.
our 11th annual Ugly Tie Contest.
On the 11th annual Ugly Tie.
Well, Dan, you got to take it one contest at a time, and God willing, someone come out and win. All the players out there are playing their best, and Kobe didn't pass. Well, I think me and Alex are always favorites because it's our birthday, and Alex is his second year in the semifinals. He won last year at the 10th annual, the decade long, but I think next year I'm going to have to give it to someone that's just a little bit more uglier than Fred.
No, I'll tell you, 2 years in a row, we haven't seen that happen. We have not seen 2 years in a row, so it's kind of winning this Ugly Tie really puts you at a disadvantage for the next year.
We saw the Mirandas in the 99 and 2000. I won in 96. I was really proud to be a finalist.
I'm Troy. I'm from New Zealand. I've never even heard of a fucking Ugly Tie. I'm Chucky Chan.
Chucky Chan!
My first annual tie contest, and I'm here to enjoy.
My name is Caesar.
Huh?
Who started the Ugly Tie Contest?
I think I did. Yeah, I did. Or no, it was I think it was Dave.
I would say Franco, Boris.
But I do remember there was 6 or 7 guys: Ryan, Brian, Todd, Alex, myself, Dave. I can't remember, but Mark Wood, and we all went to the Spaghetti Factory. It was our 21st birthday, and we decided, hey, let's go to the Spaghetti Factory. Let's get dressed up. But someone wore an ugly tie. I think it was Mark Wood.
Back in the early to mid '90s, my dad's garage was kind of one of the places where people would hang out on weekends. We'd just kind of all get together and mostly drink, just kind of hang out in the garage.
Oh, I think it was like 7 or 8 of us originally. I mean, probably no more than 12 or 13 absolute tops.
And it was the night before Boris and Alex's birthday, and somebody suggested, either Boris or Alex suggested going to the spaghetti factory for their birthday the next day. And then somebody else suggested, hey, you know, let's put on a suit and tie. Let's all get dressed up. And I kind of balked at that. I said, you know, I hate wearing a tie. I'm not going to wear a tie. I don't want to do that. And people kind of just gave me shit about it. And I just eventually gave in. I said, but I'm going to find the ugliest tie I can find. And then I said, you know what? Hey, let's make it an ugly tie contest. Let's all find the ugliest ties we can find, and we'll have the servers judge us, and you know who has the ugliest tie.
And no one really knows the story. We're probably going to be arguing over this for the next 30 years.
It was my idea originally.
Somehow the idea is we should come back and have an ugly tie contest.
The second year, most of the people that showed up actually got into the spirit of it, put on an ugly tie.
Ugly tie was born.
TV channels, they go back and forward. I go out front and I get back on my board.
The judges are thinking hard, taking a look. We have. And the first timer, Mike Castro, first man to be eliminated from the contest. He was the first timer.
Let me tell you how my day starts, okay? It's all about me anyway, right? So it started with me in the womb, right? 6 minutes, twins. We start here at my house, or a house at the time, and we start drinking. I think everyone used to get up pretty early to start drinking, and as you get older, it starts to be like 10, and as you start to get older, it starts to be 11, and now some people show up at like 12:30 or 1.
Just you're loud, you're easy, you can easily get drunk, and you're cheap. And you know, in our 30s, some of us started families, making a little bit more money, but those families come at a price and a cost. So you're still a little cheap, but we've got some flexibility, and we still want to have fun, and we're not as rowdy as we were in our 20s. In our 40s, boy, what a change. It's like a dentist convention.
Maybe they're hungover from the night before. Maybe their wife wouldn't let them leave the house until they did the dishes. Whatever the case may be, it starts with some morning drinking, lots of cheers. Everyone's wearing their tie. You watch everyone come up the driveway. You're like, motherfucker.
I remember I would used to sit in the garage waiting for everyone to show up because I was just so excited. And I would, you'd watch these guys walk up one by one, and it kind of looked like, oh, is my dad like helping the homeless or something? But no, I remember my dad telling me later on, oh, we had there's a professional baseball player that came, they were dentists, they were real estate agents, they were businessmen, guys that worked in the cannabis industry, and an Olympic medal winner. You really wouldn't have known that they had day jobs just by the way that they dressed that day. It was pretty jarring to the eyes and really all the senses.
It was probably maybe ugly tie year 1, year 2, maybe not the first year, but probably a few years after. We had a bunch of new guys, and we were in Corona looking at thrift stores basically to find the ties that they needed to participate in the competition. And it just happens, I came across this blazer, and at the time it fit a little bit better. I was a little bit, less husky, if you will. But it just became a tradition.
I just always remember for the pointing photo.
Where did the pointing picture come about? I don't know. It was just one year. We all took a picture right before.
I don't know if it was the first year or if it was a couple years in, but we were doing a group photo, and an airplane happened to be flying overhead. And so somebody said, hey, let's all just point at the airplane.
Probably Alex, because he would say something this stupid.
And I guess somebody must have looked at that photo again the next year and thought, hey, that'd be a good tradition. We'll all point at something every year.
And Mark's probably one that probably said, let's add it to the tradition.
There's no bitches allowed. And I remember it was like rule number 1, 3, and 7, which how weird for a bunch of like young dudes just to want to hang out at a sausage party. Weird.
Rule number 1. Make them quick. No women allowed in the contest or at lunch. Number 2. No women, period, may enter the contest.
Why is there no women allowed? You know, because it was, in the beginning, it was just guys going out and celebrating a birthday, right? So Alex and myself, you know, we're twins. We're born December 28th, and it was roughly around that day. And we just went out. This is kind of a guys' event. It just became a guys' event. In fact, rule number 2, if you look at the longer, we have a longer set of rules, which, you know, but one of those rules multiple times is just no women allowed. And we just thought it was it was funny, but it's also a day with the guys. Now, there are women allowed before the contest, and there's at the party, and there's women allowed after the contest, but that party is closed doors always, private, and the shit that comes out of our mouths, you just don't want women and children to be around.
Todd's the only guy I know that celebrates Christmas one day and Thanksgiving 364 days. Todd's so fat that RJ will skip the magic carpet ride to jump on his back, give him peanuts, and ride into the forest.
The last time I seen this many people get roasted, the band Stereophones was playing.
Well, one of the roasts that we did, I don't know who came up. I think it was Todd who came up with it, which this part I'll give him credit for, genius. But I think he came up with this slideshow one year that during the roast, he played the slideshow and based the roast off the slideshow. And it's probably some of the funniest shit these eyes have ever seen. I don't know how he got some of the footage he even got, but it was definitely worth it. I just remember spitting Coke out my nose on some of them I saw, which...
where you can make a joke and nobody's going to take it too seriously, you know, even if it's a little bit politically incorrect. We all know how we are as people. We all know that, you know, none of us are truly misogynists or whatever, you know, but we can make those jokes and nobody's gonna get upset about it.
Mom, can I swear? It was something I said at Ugly Tie in a roast. Whatever. Thank you. My personal favorite Ugly Tie, I want to say it was the 2015 one. I was about 9, and it was the year that I was finally old enough to get to do roast jokes. So they let me I wrote them out on, you know, like a little piece of lined paper, and I got to say maybe 10, 15 jokes before everyone left on the double-decker bus.
Everybody's congregating in the garage, and out comes Mia, right? And she has a piece of paper in her hand. We're wondering what the heck's going on. And she sits there, it's a roasting sheet. And she gets up there and just starts roasting all of us, right? Which obviously I think she had some help putting together. But God bless her, she put that thing in there so well, and everyone's just rolling. And it was great material, you know what I mean? So she actually has a stage presence. But as she was reading the jokes, all of us were just gathering around laughing our asses off like she spruted out like a professional.
My dad obviously was ghostwriting a lot of them because, you know, what 9-year-old is going to tell their uncle to get their thumb out of their ass or else it'll deflate their muscles, you know? Or that, you know, their dad's friend Todd looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy, you know? That's not coming off of top of my head personally.
You know what I mean? And that was a great moment that I don't think I'll forget either, pre-Ugly Tie, if you will.
In the beginning, we all got together in the morning for beers. And in the beginning, we all had to take a shot of wild turkey to get into the ugly tie contest. That was your in. And who brought wild turkey? Probably Mark Wood, but someone brought in wild turkey and it became a staple. You have to do a shot as the entry into my mom's garage.
Oh my gosh, it looked like the U.S. Army troops had marched into my kitchen floor. My plants were all trampled.
And then from there, we used to get onto a double-decker English-style bus, and everyone would pile on there. We'd have a keg, and we'd put that on there, and then we would go to the spaghetti factory. Why the spaghetti factory? I don't know, but the spaghetti factory is symbolic because they let a bunch of 20-something-year-old and 20 quantity drunks into their establishment with ugly ties. Some guys wearing ugly clothes along with that. Some were just ugly.
What does be ugly, feel ugly mean? Well, I'd love to say that the etymology of ugly comes from the Nordic word of ugliglur, which means, fearsome, and no, it's the motto. It actually is a real meaningful thing, which is to be yourself. If that's ugly, be ugly. Feel ugly. Don't try to dress yourself up and be something that you're not, but just be authentic, be real, and be yourself.
And then from there we drink, we have the contest, and then we drink some more, and then we board the bus, we come back, and then we drink some more. What was the question?
What was the question? Oh, the bus. So we decided one year to get a bus because we didn't want anyone to drive. And boy, that was the funnest thing. We did that for about 4 or 5 years in a row. I think 2 or 3, maybe 4 years. And I don't know whose idea. That might have been Dan Revere's idea. Someone got that initial bus. It's probably Todd and Dan chipped in and got that bus. It was a double-decker red bus. And I'm telling you, it was a blast, a complete blast.
So here's something funny that happened on the double-decker bus, and is really kind of why we may have stopped using it. We were traveling to the Ugly Tie from Corona to the Old Spaghetti Factory in Riverside, and one thing that we discovered, and when I say we, I mean Todd, is that the gate on the door that brings you in and out of the bus did not lock. And Todd decides to open up the gate and grab the pole, because there was a pole, and start laying outside on the freeway, running 55, 60 miles an hour, going, woo!
So there was a small chain that was on the very back, and as we were going on the 91, we took the chain off and we were playing games on, who could stand in the very back and hold on for their life. Probably a little bit too much to drink, and
nearly slipped his hand off the pole. So we're like, oh yeah, that wouldn't be good. That's not a headline we want.
Fortunately for everyone, including the driver, I did maintain my balance and stayed on. And I didn't think it was a big deal, but supposedly it was a big deal, and we did get a little bit in trouble for it.
So not a good thing. We decided we're not going to do that anymore. And then one thing the driver had always been very explicit about is when we're on the freeway, keep your heads down, don't stand up, because that clearance between the signs on the freeway and that top of the bus gets really small.
I think it was either Todd or Brett Dahl almost took their head off on the overpass, and that scared the living bejesus out of me.
Someone decided they wanted to high five an overpass. That was bad.
And there's always someone who brings extra ties. And I remember one year the bus driver, you have this fee to get in, and someone gave the bus driver, here, hey, fun, here, bus driver, here's a tie.
Usually you bring 1, 2, 3 ties. You come to pre-time, judge it out, and then some people might leave a tie laying around. Well, I left my second tie, and that bus driver was hanging outside, and I can't remember who it was, probably Kreiser. He was like, hey, we should bring in the bus driver. So he came in, and we gave him a tie.
We have one just so you can kind of fit in. Well, he wasn't really supposed to be in the contest because he's just a bus driver. He wasn't invited to the Ugly Tie. Well, I don't know how, but he got mixed into this. Everyone stand up and let's start judging.
And sure enough, he ends up getting selected in the top 5. Then he gets selected in the top 3. And so Boris, the tradition is the judges have to tell Boris, unless he's in the top 3, have to tell him who they're going to pick so that he can make the announcement.
And, I usually do the announcement with the trophy. And I'm in the huddle with these girls, and they're talking, and I'm like, I need a winner, girls. I need a winner, girls, or whatever the group was. I think it was all girls at that time. And the one girl says, it's the guy right there to the left. And the fucking chick points at the bus driver, and I go,
well, they told him they wanted to give it to the bus driver. And he is like, oh, no way. No way are you going to give it to him?
And I go, no, we're not. That motherfucker is not winning today. It can't be a guy who just got thrown a tie, got off a fucking bus, literally, and won an ugly tie. There's just no way.
They did not give it to him, but he won. So I guess that's the thing. So, but that was my tie. So it's twice I picked a winning tie. I'll just hold on to that.
That's the story of the bus, and that's the story of the bus driver too.
As far as I know, I never really took public transportation in the United States, but those Brits, they can't build a motor, but they sure do know how to make a cool bus to cruise around on. It was neat being out in the open air with your buddies. I mean, as Californians, we're pretty much, don't drink and drive. So we just drink and ride instead. It was pretty fun. Kegs on a bus. It's like,
I'm drunk already. He sucks a good cock.
How do you feel? Cheated?
Yeah, tad.
Do you feel
Not that
cheated?
bad, cheated.
Fucking Andy. What? Brian? Cheated.
Got a second with you. Good job, dude. Or you won first. I got second.
Fucking Rogelio with his tie in!
Semi's on the first try. Everybody? I was like,
I don't know what the Franco rule is. I don't even remember. All I remember is there's a Franco rule. And if there's a rule about you, you probably fucked up.
We need the Franco rule. That's why there's a Franco rule.
Rule number 27, no beaching. That includes Franco. Number 28. Why is there a Franco rule? Franco probably complained the most of all the other complaints. If you put them all in like a basket or a scale, Franco's complaints and bitching would just like tip that scale, and everyone else's would be up here.
We had a good situation. Spaghetti Factory. They gave us the whole back. Well, the first time we were in a little corner, and as it developed, they started to give us the back room, and we started to kind of like be like VIP, like, oh shit, yeah, dude, this is great. And so I think that's when it started, where I didn't want to lose it. Like, oh my God, they're recognizing us, they love us, we're tipping them well, you know? So people, they started throwing butter and being stupid. So I tried to kind of regulate, because if I don't regulate people and tell them to chill out, then I'm the stupid one, acting dumb, and I can't control myself sometimes.
That guy deserved a rule for a reason. And that is no bitching allowed, especially Franco.
I was like,
I don't know why it's a rule, but the Franco rule is no bitching. That's all I'm gonna say. That is the Franco rule.
Is it because you were complaining too much in the beginning?
Yes. It's because it's because I was complaining a lot. So the situation is, we're crazy. We're wild. And I know that I'm a lot to handle. I know that. My wife tells me that now. And I know that if you're my friend, I'm a law, and I get it.
Franco, in the first couple of years, was kind of just complaining about that he didn't feel the judging was I don't know, was fair, or that he didn't like the way the judges chose their chose the ugly tie. Yeah, who knows? We never have complete agreement with the judges, but that's just the way it goes. You don't know how they're going to judge. So that rule came about and got labeled the Franco rule.
Boris loves to make rules, and if you complain or you do something stupid, they're making a rule about you.
Maybe it's a little unfair, maybe, I don't know that Franco really deserves it, because I think a lot of people have complained about the judging in the past, but Franco's the one that kind of gets that label.
Under no circumstances are you allowed to taunt your tie to the judges. Mark Wood, can you show them how to taunt your tie? Number 8, judges are chosen by proximity to job function. Number 9, ties may be worn as many times in as many years as we are old. However, no winning tie may be worn in more than one ugly tie contest. Number 10, winner buys the first cake from this contest winning. Number 12, no bitches allowed! That includes women and men. Number 13.
How many rules are in the ugly tie contest? If you ask Ryan and Alex, 0. There should be 0 rules. The reading of the rules, I get it. I mean, they still like to cry a little bit, but fuck them. I'd read all the rules if I could.
How many rules are there? Too many. I would say there's like 5, and the other ones are like reiterations of those 5 repeats.
Respect the restaurant. That means no vandalism and throwing food or silverware. That's pretty tiny. Number 29, be responsible and throw up at your own house. Don't make an ass out of yourself. Number 30,
And it's about 5 in the morning, and we go into the jacuzzi. 5, 6 in the morning. Completely wasted. So then everyone disappears, and Kevin begins to almost drown in the jacuzzi. Needless to say, I save him. At 6 in the morning.
Kevin McCormick, who used to come back in the day, threw up all over my driveway. It was like he didn't even chew. Long strands of spaghetti. Like when he threw up, it was like a mop came out of his mouth. This long thing. And then my wife woke up in the morning and is like, "That's my car!" He threw up all over her car and the driveway, and it was red, and it smelled of ragu.
Did your parents know?
Well, I haven't told them yet.
Fantastic. That's one wonderful tie.
One time Alex came in, and he had been drinking, and all of a sudden I heard this whoop, and he didn't quite make it to the toilet, so it was all over the door in the bathroom. I was the one who cleaned it up.
Is at the after party of one of these contests. We're at Boris's mom's house, and everybody was partying, and the night was dwindling on. It was getting close to like 4 o'clock in the morning, and Franco comes in, and he's just having his drunken good time, and Boris is trying to get him to go sit down and relax and try to sleep, and he wouldn't have it.
Franco is, just standing there, and I'm going, go to bed, man. Look at this. And something came over me where I slapped him right across the face, and he looks at me without even any anger and says, "But I love you."
So Boris starts yelling at me, and I'm just crying. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. He's like,
Franco threw up on the floor, but it was all beer. It wasn't just vomit, but all over the floor. And so Boris and I and everybody were trying to help clean up this mess.
what the fuck, dude? Fucking clean this shit up. And I'm like, no. And he's like, fuck you, dude. I'm gonna kick your ass. And I think he got violent with me, and I'm like, so fucking hit me. So he fucking slapped the shit out of me. Bam! Full cock, just wham! 3 times, dude. 3 times. I think by the 3rd time is when they got it on video.
When Todd's brother came and got drunk, is his first ugly tie.
I don't think he realized the amount of drinking that was going to, kind of take over everyone. I was not a good brother at the time.
And we all just got home. We made our descent. We left Ugly Tie. We came all the way home. And then we get a phone call, and it's the manager because, we've known him for 15 years. He goes, hey, one of your guys has got an ugly tie, so I know it's one of your guys, is face down in the stall, passed out. We're like, oh crap, we forgot Nate. We had to go all the way back and pick him up off the floor and drive him all the way back. That was pretty funny too.
We did come back for him, but it wasn't a good showing for me or Nate. Everyone was okay, but yeah, that was an interesting ugly tie that year.
All right, I'm gonna do an impression of Mark Wood at one of the first ugly ties, okay? He's so drunk, he's been drinking in the morning, he's been drinking at the tie contest, he's drinking after the tie contest. He's just been drinking, right? He should have turned into a pumpkin by now. This is my impression of Mark, ready? He's sitting in a chair. There's girls, there's parties, there's music. To everyone, is dancing and this and that. This is Mark. Here we go.
That's funny.
There have been a lot of special things that have come out of Ugly Tie. I think one of the best stories and the top story of Ugly Tie, in my opinion, and probably everyone else's, was that one night we had a 70s party and we were rocking. And I remember standing next to Brian and he said, she's really cute.
We go back to one of these after parties over at Dan Rivera's house, right? And all these girls come over and we're having a good time. And one of those girls was Maria.
And, I just left him alone. And everyone else, I think, just left him alone. These two were just talking and talking and talking. And eventually he got her number and asked her out. And they started dating. And they've been married for 12, 15 years, something like that. It's been awesome to come out. Of all the horrible things that have happened at Ugly Tie, this is the one thing that shines in my mind.
I remember it's 2006, beginning of 2006, January. It was a great time there when we had the Ugly Tie party. After party was at Dan Rivera's house. And everyone had to dress up in 70s costumes and whatnot. And that time was when you had to bring a girl and then one other. So anyway, a friend brought one, and it had to be Maria, the girl that I met, and ended up marrying her later in life. And that was probably the best time. That was probably the best Ugly Tie, I have to tell you. Because I met the love of my life for that time.
We had a great party at my house in Braemar Lane. And they were really fun. We spent all day just drinking. A lot of drinking conversations were made. Belligerents, alcoholic belligerents, witnessed and observed. Including my own, but alcoholic belligerents for sure.
As far as the parties go, it got pretty loud, pretty late. And we had about 7 or 8 of them at my house, at the one house. And I had great neighbors, right? We only had the cops called ever once. And that was when someone decided to do cake stands at 3 a.m. But after one party, it's people are leaving at 3, 4 in the morning, and I woke up at 6:30. Someone's coming in and out of the door, and I go downstairs and I see John with a trash bag, and he's going outside the house and in the front yard and all up and down the street, picking up red Solo cups and beer cans and other trash. Just to clean it up and just to make sure that we respect the neighborhood that way. And so I really appreciate that, John.
Mid-flight, ready? Ready?
I didn't come up with the idea of Ugly Tie, but you could say that I was the one that needed to propel it. That they would say it was my event. It's not. I just took control. You know, I remember our 18th birthday graduation. I know, here come the violins. I know, guys. Graduation, we were out on the floor, you know, kissing and hugging all of our friends, and I was wondering where all my friends were, and I didn't know. And they went to some party, but they didn't tell me, and so I had nothing to do. So I walked across the street, knocked on my friend's door, and he was watching TV, and we had a 6-pack of beer. And then our 18th birthday was that December, and you know, I was like, "Hey, Alex, where are we going for birthday?" He wouldn't tell me, right? All of a sudden, like 4 cars pull up in front of the home. They come in, practically hoist the guy, and take him out. I know you guys are laughing, violins. And I say, "Oh, great, where are we going?" And my brother says, "Mexico." I said, "Oh shit, well, I don't know what to pack." And he said, "I'm sorry, there's no room in the car for you." And I just waved goodbye. You know, like some sad story. Watched them drive away on my 18th birthday. And they did that again at 19th, and I know exactly who you motherfuckers are. And then at 20, we went to the spaghetti factory. And I told myself, I'm never gonna spend a birthday alone again.
What a loser.
On the position they think I am gonna be. I want to go down into Mexico to drink and smoke marijuana and fill up on the 50-cent tacos. They burn my toy.
You couldn't separate them. I remember there was one year where my mom wanted to throw my dad I think it was his 40th birthday. She wanted to throw him a fiesta separate from the ugly tie. And he said, "Well, Boris has got to be there too. We have to have another cake for Boris. It's his birthday too." My dad and Boris were just so connected. They were just like attached at the hip almost. You know, they couldn't do a lot without each other. I would always hear stories of, "Oh, well, you know, Uncle Toe, when he was little, he would do this, and we had our own secret language."
Hello, Toe.
And we would do all these things, and it would make me jealous that my parents didn't have a second child, or that I wasn't, you know, born as a twin, because it just always looked so fun watching the two of them, really.
I really wanted to promote Ugly Tie. I wanted to make this something special. I created the logo, the website. I created the rules. I kind of formulated the structure, and I'm always adding and it became really my event. We have a committee, we have a whole planning committee. Every year we get together roughly around Thanksgiving, and we take the next 2.5 months to plan out where, when, who, what, and what structure we're gonna have.
Right, are we gonna do it at Old Riverside, which we can't go back to Riverside. I won't talk about why, but just we were uninvited.
We got kicked out. Is it a $40 entry fee? We have to tip 100%. We've always tipped 100%. So we factor all those things in, and we kind of get it going. Danny's always been the master of ceremonies. He's done a fantastic job. And, you know, we organize his part, where the introduction is. Are we gonna have a camera? Ryan usually is outside the U.S., and Thomas is another guy who's outside the U.S. How are we gonna bring them in? Is it gonna be on Facebook? Are we gonna do, you know, Zoom call? I mean, there's a little things. It's an event. It's a fun event.
When we have the whole family together, there is no better time than the Ugly Tie contest. You know what I mean? Especially with the Alex and Boris, you know, and everybody involved, Todd, Franco, you know, rest his soul, you know, Virgil's with us still, you know, so looking down everywhere, and yeah.
Where are we going? I'm taking you for a trip inside your head. Enjoy the circus, my dear. You try to get into my head. Your blood is it blue? Your blood is
So Virgil, awesome friend of ours since we were like 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there, passed away. And so we take a moment of silence for Virgil.
I talked to Alex, and he let me know that he passed, and I let him know it was really strange, because that time I was thinking about was the time that he passed.
That was a rough time. It's never pleasant to lose somebody that you care about.
Yeah, well, God rest Virgil. You know, I call him a brother. I love him as one, and love you, buddy.
It really started when Virgil passed away, which hit everyone hard. He was just one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet. I choking up just thinking of that. But it's also the others that had passed away. I mean, there were, you have Eddie and some of the other people that didn't make it, like Virgil. And as we got older, I knew not all of us are going to make it. Now that we're getting 50, we're going to start hitting our parents. We're going to start hitting hard with cancer. We're going to start hitting hard in so many different ways. And I knew that we needed a moment of silence to feed into that ceremony because of not only Virgil, but other people that are just not able to be at Ugly Tie.
Ugly Tie represents to me time to get together once a year with all the guys that I haven't seen.
And then to go out and just reminisce about all the times that we had, all the stupid stuff we did, and then all the great things we accomplished, right? So the Ugly Tie is really that getting together and becoming, those best of friends on the schoolyard again.
I think it's just an amazing opportunity to reconnect with our friends and really enjoy each other's company, and to do this on an annual basis. And then the older we get, I think the more we appreciate the opportunity to see one another, to talk about memories and to laugh. But I do love the opportunity that we have annually to get together and be stupid and have fun and love life.
And, people split up in life and they go different directions, employment-wise, families, all kinds of stuff. I think it's just a good way to get everyone back together and remember how much fun you had as youngsters, and just to see how everyone's doing, and to think that we're all still alcoholics drinking in the morning. I think that's probably the greatest part.
Is I don't see some of these guys for an entire year, and then that one day I finally get to see a lot of the individuals. They'll fly in, or they'll, we've got busy lives. So the older we get, the busier our lives got, and it's just really nice to catch up and have that camaraderie, that bond.
I mean, I have to give Boris a lot of credit for that. Boris has kind of really taken the reins and made sure that we kept the tradition going. So I definitely thank Boris. And I think it's just, we love each other. We're a bunch of guys that love each other, love getting together and having a good time. And it's a good excuse, just a good excuse to hang out.
I find myself sometimes getting, lost into the family aspect and other things that's going on in the world. But there's always that one time a year where I just know I get to see all my brothers from high school. Just people I grew up with, people I love. It's always that one time a year that I always look forward to.
Like Boris and Alex, they're great. They're like sisters to me. You know what I mean? I love those sisters of mine. No, but probably the greatest times ever, man. And the way it goes off without a hitch is what I like about it the most. It's just a bunch of buddies doing what we do, and it gives us a reason to get together. It sucks it has to be like that to do it, but it's something to look forward to every year, and I do. It's awesome.
I thought that was a great idea. They continued the tradition for a long time.
My first Ugly Tie, I think I was 4 or 5 months old. I was born in September, and my first one was that December. And they put a little baby tie on me, a hideous baby tie, true to the theme. And everyone took turns holding me, I think, and they let me, just kind of hang out for the day. I think until I passed out, but, that was my first Ugly Tie. Not that I remember it, but...
I would like to think that the tradition's going to continue beyond us, I mean, at some point.
I don't think I see a generation. I think it's going to die with us.
And it would be kind of a cool legacy to leave behind, that there are still some people carrying the torch.
Our daughters can do it if we want this to survive.
I don't know what it looks like, though. I mean, I just hope that it continues.
Well, I do plan to continue Ugly Tie. I've been talking about it. I wanted to do it for my 18th birthday, but I figured I got to do it on my 21st when everyone's allowed to actually drink, me and all my friends. So I want to do a big Ugly Tie bash, pregame at my house, double-decker bus to another place, and I want the first roast to be of me, very much in tradition. I would love to have a blend of, old generation for pregame and then my new generation, me and all my friends just getting together and having a really horrible time together, for lots of horrible, horrible stories for the future.